Let's begin. Today is October 12th, 2024, and we're solving the Daily Turing Machine Puzzle. Today's puzzle uses the following 6 criteria cards. Criteria card 7, 9, 12, 17, 19, and 22. And the puzzle uses the green verification cards. The code above is your way to get more information on today's puzzle by searching the code on turingmachine.info. Let's go solve. So in the grid above, we've got our 6 criteria cards. On the top row, we've got criteria card A, criteria card B, and criteria card C. On the bottom row, we've got criteria card D, criteria card E, and finally criteria card F. Criteria card A takes a look at our last digit, the circle digit, and will let us know if that value is an even digit or an odd digit. Criteria card B will take a look at the 3-digit solution and will let us know how many of those digits are 3. Are there no 3s? Is there a single 3? Perhaps 2, maybe even all 3 are 3. Criteria card C will take a look at our first and last digits, triangle and circle, and compare them. So should the value of triangle be less than circle? Should they be equal? Or should the value of triangle be greater than circle? Criteria card D will again take a look at our 3-digit solution, except this time it'll let us know how many evens there are. Are there no evens? Is there a single even? Perhaps 2, maybe even all 3 are even. Criteria card E will take a look at our first 2 digits, triangle and square, add them together, and compare that sum to the number 6. So should the sum be less than 6? Should it be equal to 6? Or should the sum be greater than 6? And finally, criteria card F will take a look at our 3-digit solution from triangle to square to circle, and will let us know a little bit about the ordering of the digits. Should they appear in an ascending order, or basically increasing, as in the example 135, or should they appear in a descending order, or decreasing, as in the example 421, or should the 3-digit solution have no order? So let's take a look at the example of 231. Notice that it goes from 2 to 3, so it increases, but then it goes from 3 to 1 and decreases. So it's that shift from increasing to decreasing, or in other examples, the opposite. That is one way to define a 3-digit solution to have no order. We've also seen other puzzles in the past where we have consecutive equal digits that are right next to each other, that are equal. For example, like say 225, that also exhibit no order. And that's because those consecutive digits, those 2's for example, there's no change. There's neither an increase nor decrease from 2 to 2. So again, that's another way to define no order. And remember, the objective of today's puzzle is to find that unique 3-digit code that abides by all of the 6 criteria cards we just discussed. And we're going to start off with an initial proposal of 314. So the first thing I'd like to test is criteria card A. Okay, so the Turing Machine approves of my choice for circle. I did choose an even 4, and the Turing Machine confirms that yes, the value of circle is an even digit. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes in section A. And we'll say that circle is an even digit. And since it is even, well, we can cross out all 3 odds. So 1, 3, and 5. Okay, so let's see, what else can I test? We do have the card that tells us how many 3's we have. Well, let's see. We know we can't have 3 3's, and that's because if you have 3 3's, you'd automatically have 0 evens. And that would make this card irrelevant. So we know we can't have 3 of them. But you could have 2, 1, or none. And let's see, I think by the same token, you can't have 3 evens, because if you had 3 evens, you'd know you have 0 threes. So I think we can exclude the 3 of either threes or evens, but anything else is a go. Let's see what else. I think I'm going to go ahead and test criteria card E. Okay, so the sum of the first 2 digits must be less than 6. So if you look at my proposal, 3 plus 1 is 4, and 4 is less than 6. So it's actually true that the sum of the first 2 digits, triangle and square, should be less than 6. So that is criteria card E. So we'll state that triangle plus square should be less than 6. And so what can we say, or what can we conclude from that? And that is that in order for the sum total of triangle and square to be less than 6, neither triangle nor square could be a 5. Because if you were to add a 5, even to the smallest of ones, that's already 6. And of course, if you pick anything bigger than 1, that's going to go and exceed 6 itself. So we can eliminate 3 and 5. Sorry, we can eliminate the 5s from triangle and square. Okay. Well, we're down to 2 3s. Let's see. Could we have... So we can tell that, well, I wouldn't say we can't have an all odd solution since we do have 1 even. Could we have 2 evens? Let's see. So we can't have 0 evens, and we can't have 3 evens. So I guess it is a toss-up. It's between either 1 even or 2 evens. And let's see. Yeah, and we can't have 3 evens. So we know, okay, so we know that because we can't have 3 evens, we know that one or the other among triangle and square has to be even odd or odd even in some sort of sequence. So how would you choose that? Perhaps it's triangle that's the other even, and that's why we're comparing them. Perhaps. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and test criteria card D. Okay, so the Turing machine does not approve of my choice of a single even. That's because I only have 1 even in my proposal. And of course, like I mentioned before, you can't have 0 evens because you already know circles even. You can't have 3 of them because that would say that you'd have 0 threes. And since it doesn't like my single even, that means that there are 2 evens. Okay, so let's go ahead and type that up in our notes for section D, and we'll state that the solution well, actually, let me state it as we're going to deduce, because it's not like we actually confirmed it with a test. So we're going to deduce that the solution has 2 evens. Okay. Well, that does it for this round. We have completed our 3 Turing tests in round 1. We're now going into the phase where we'll be discussing how to construct a good second round proposal. So again, notice that we did not test criteria card B, the number of threes. We did not compare the first and last digits, triangle and circle, and we did not confirm the ordering. Now, I will say that I think based on previous puzzles, criteria card C and F, specifically the ordering criteria card, and possibly any combination of, comparing any of the three digits. I think they work sort of hand in hand to help us deduce that the solution should have no order. What I mean by that is that if I assume that the solution is in ascending order, meaning it's increasing, that would automatically mean that triangle would have to be smaller than circle, making this card irrelevant. Likewise, if I were to assume that the solution is in a descending order, that would mean that triangle is greater than circle, which would mean that, again, criteria card C would be irrelevant. And so I believe we can deduce that the solution should have no order. So I'm going to type that up. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean it can't be any of these. All I can say is that the ordering has no order, or is no order. So it can still be, less than, equal, or even greater than. So I believe, again, we've already established that there are two evens and an odd. So the odd would be either 1 or 3, since it could only be either triangle or square. So I wonder, is it safe to state that perhaps maybe the triangle is even? Is there anything that we could say? And how would you pick such a number? Perhaps, well, let's see. If triangle were to be less than, how do you? Oh, well, of course we are constrained for triangle and square to be to add up to less than 6. So we do have to pick something to that effect. And what could it be? What could we? If we know there's a 3, then the only thing we can add to it is, a 1 or a 2 in the other digit. And how would you decide which one's going to be the 3? So we do have an odd. Let's see. I would almost say that maybe triangle should be greater than circle. So have something like either a 3-2 or a 4-2. And then, let's see. Well, and that was triangle and circle. And then perhaps, but that would sort of force square to be a 1. And again, that would probably make criteria card be irrelevant, or just be able to deduce that it's a 1. That's occurred before. Well, the other thing is, if it's a 4, maybe it's not a 4, because then, or greater than, because it would make that card irrelevant, because of the sum. That would force you to pick a 1. And so you need a little bit of, decision to make based on the criteria cards. So, I don't know, maybe something like 1, but it can't be a 1 because then, of course, all of those would be greater, right? So how would you choose between 2 and 4 in circle if triangle were 1? I just don't see it being a 1. And so, by the way, well, I guess one thing we really haven't established either is we do have 2 evens. Oh yeah, we do have 2 evens, so that means, it's either a 3 or a 1. Okay, never mind. I was thinking something else. So let's see. I wonder if you could have something like 2, 3, 2, where they are equal. Yeah, you know what? Maybe they're equal, and then that would determine, I do like something like either 2, 1, 2 or 2, 3, 2, because they both do add up to less than 6, and then it's the fact that whether you have a 3 or not that determines whether you should pick square. So they're equal. That forces you to say, it's either 2, 2 or 4, 4, and then it's criteria card B that tells you, it's a 1 or the 3. Yeah, I really like that. So let's go ahead and let's choose 2, 3, 2 as our proposal. Okay. All right. So, and what if we were to, if we pick criteria card B, I guess you could still have, and it comes back that there are no 3s. Well, is it 2, 1, 2 or 4, 1, 4? So there may not be be a way to deduce one of those. So let's go ahead and test criteria card C. Okay, wow, they're not equal. Oh, okay. Well, let's type that up. And that's in C, and so we know that triangle is either going to be less than or greater than. So triangle is either less than or greater than circle. Interesting. Okay. All right. And I don't think, let's see. I don't think, again, we could have maybe crossed out the 1 because, again, how would you pick circle? So it could be that, it's not a 1. But let's go ahead and now test criteria card B, the number of 3s. Okay, so it does approve of the fact that there should be a 1, at least one 3-digit, because that's what's in my proposal, and the Turing Machine has confirmed that. So let's go ahead and say that the solution has a single 3-digit. Okay, so since there is a single 3, now we can definitively cross out the ones. So let's go ahead, cross out the ones. Okay, and we do have a 3. Remember that the sum has to be less than 6. So based on that, it does not seem possible for either triangle or square to be 4, because 4 plus any other digit is going to be greater than 6. So let's go ahead and cross out the 4s. Okay, and so now we have only 2. So we know, well, we don't know it could, well, we do need a 3. So it's going to be a 2, 3 in some combination. And it seems that, let's see. Well, how do we pick? 3, could it be 3, 2, 2? Well, again, we did deduce that the solution should have no order. I believe the logic and how I argued that, I think that's sound. Yeah, okay. So we are to have no order. Well, it could be 2, 3, 2 or 3, 2, 4. That seems to be the only possibilities. 2, 3, 2. Oh, but we can't have equal digits among triangle and circle. So it can't be 2, 3, 2. So it must be 3, 2, 4 as our solution. So let me just type that up. Okay, and so I guess based on that, we'd be deducing that triangle should be less than circle. And we do have 2 cases for that, but the way you choose it is because of the ordering of the 3-digit solution. If you picked, well, yeah, you do need a 3, so it couldn't be 2, 2, 4. It'd have to be 2, 3, 4, but that is in an ascending order, so that wouldn't work. So 2, yeah, the 2 gets eliminated for triangle, so you're left with 3, and you can't have 2 3s, so you have to pick the 2, and then because of, can it be 3, 2, 2? No, because again, we'd be deducing that it should be the other way around, where triangle is less than. Oh man. Yeah, I guess technically we should test it, because 3, 2, 2 is no order. As I mentioned at the top of the video, whenever you have consecutive equal digits. So 3, 2, 2, those 2's are consecutive. So we probably should verify. We should test, oh, but we just tested criteria card C. Ooh. And I don't think testing A, D, E, or F would get us any closer. Well, that's a risk. Do I want to risk going to a 3rd round between 3, 2, 2 and 3, 2, 4? Oh, goodness. Yeah, this will cost me probably the game versus a Turing machine, but I think I do need to test it in a 3rd round. So I'm going to go to a new round. and test 3, 2, 4. Because I don't know if triangle should be greater than, if triangle should be greater than circle or less than circle. Okay, well, it's a risk, but let's do it. And again, we are testing criteria card C. Okay, yeah, so it's true. So that should be the solution. Well, we'll see if it costs. Yeah, it might have. But let's go verify. 3, 2, 4. So 3, 2, 4. Yep, that is a solution. Now, how do we do with versus a Turing machine? Well, it was unfortunate that we had to go to a quick third round, but let's go ahead and see. We did ADE in the first round, and then we did BC in the second and retested C. So ADE, so I believe A was correct, D was incorrect, and E was correct. And then we did B and C, and I believe C was incorrect. And then we retested C, and then it was finally correct. Wow, we still beat the Turing machine. So we, because the Turing machine went to 7 tests, it was forced to go into the third round. I guess I was forced as well. But I did it under 6 questions. So that was a fortunate win. And of course, what really helped out is this deduction criteria card F. So again, if you ever see a criteria card like C, where you're comparing, probably especially maybe the first triangle digit and either square and circle. I really haven't confirmed that. But something that looks like this and having the criteria card F where you're ordering, most times I've seen we can make the same argument and deduce a solution to have no order. And of course, criteria card D, being able to deduce the evens, that really helped out. Okay, well, how did you solve? What order of criteria cards did you make? And did you discover anything interesting? Basically what I call these aha moments. Add those thoughts to the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up so that more people can find this channel. And of course, hit subscribe to not miss out on any future videos. Well, until next time, have a great one.